Hi everyone! In this video, I'm making a recipe inspired by Anna Olsen, whom I deeply admire and respect. Anna, if you're ever gonna watch this, I just want you to know how grateful I am for all the knowledge you put out there. Almost everything I know about baking is thanks to you. And on a personal note, one of my dreams is a baking day with you. In her video, she makes a triple chocolate cheesecake. I didn't have the time to make the ganache, so I'd only call it the chocolate cheesecake. I respected the ingredients to the letter, of course, replacing the sugar with erythritol. I encountered 3 problems on the way. First of all, room temperature eggs are more fragile. When I separated them, the yolks broke. This meant I had to mix the eggs a little bit, and the instructions were clear not to beat the eggs. I didn't beat the eggs, I just mixed them with a fork. Second, what happened is my chocolate set immediately as I poured it into the cheese mixture. And that's because both the bowl and the paddle are out of metal. I fixed this by filling a basin with hot water and putting the bowl inside. After about 15 or 20 minutes of constant stirring, the chocolate melted and the mixture was homogeneous again. Perfect to start the baking process. Even though the temperature was the one recommended by Anna, I noticed some small cracks forming on the surface of the cake, and then I figured, okay, it must be the fan. So I lowered the temperature by 10 degrees and the cracks didn't go further. These are 210 grams of cocoa biscuits, to which I add 2 teaspoons of cocoa powder. Once the food processor turns these into fine crumbs, I add 60 grams of melted butter. I have a 24 cm springform pan that I've greased with butter. Use the back of the spoon to press the biscuits in the bottom of the pan. Bake the crust at 160 Celsius for 10 minutes. I place my bowl with 360 grams of semi-sweet chocolate over a pot with barely simmering water. Give it a minute or so before you start to gently move it. And that's the ready baked crust. Remove the chocolate from the bain-marie as soon as it's fluid. These are 750 grams of cream cheese. Give the mixer 1 or 2 minutes to work the cheese on low-medium speed and then scrape the bowl. Now start the mixer again, this time on medium speed, and gradually begin to add the erythritol. As soon as you're done adding half of the erythritol, stop the mixer and scrape the bowl again. Then proceed the same way with the second half of the erythritol. This time when you scrape the bowl, you'll notice the cheese is a lot more fluid. Now add 3 teaspoons of cocoa powder and mix on low to medium speed, scraping the bowl afterwards again. I am not adding the pinch of salt because the cream cheese already had it. And now it's time to add 175 grams of full-fat sour cream and a generous tablespoon of vanilla. And you guessed it, it's time to scrape again. And now it's time to add the eggs. Add them gradually. And once the eggs are fully incorporated, it's time to add the chocolate. And this is the point where it all went south for me because the chocolate set. I added the rest of the chocolate anyway, gave it a quick stir, and then took the bowl and put it in a basin with hot water. In approximately 15 to 20 minutes of constant stirring, the chocolate melted and the mixture became homogeneous. Pour the cream over the biscuit and add hot water at least halfway up the springform pan. I baked the cake at 160 Celsius for 45 minutes, but because I noticed small cracks on the surface, I reduced the temperature by 10 degrees and continued baking until I reached 65 minutes. And after 15 minutes at room temperature, I took my offset spatula and ran it on the inside edge of my pan to release the cake, a step I obviously forgot to film. Sorry about the poor presentation, but the cake was so good, I barely had time to take a few pictures. Once again, Anna, thank you for this amazing recipe. And until next time, Dessertophiles.